lesson titled Row References. We're in Workbook Tips and Tricks, and we're on our Worksheet tab, Row References. It's well known in Excel that you can add up any selection by simply using some sort of function like sum and then giving an address or a range. But there's some real advantages to selecting an entire row instead of just a range. And let's just take a look at this example to see what I'm talking about. Here we have a bunch of cities, and we have widget sales by item here. And down below, the boss has said that he wants some totals for the East and Midwest and South and Mountain and West areas. And so we're going to have to gather this data, add it up, and put it down here. Well, this first one's relatively easy. Let's just click right here, and we're going to use auto sum. I can go all the way up to the top right here and click on auto sum. I can also use the shortcut key, Alt equals. I'm going to hit Alt equals. And auto sum does what it always does, and that's it tries to guess, and sometimes it gets it wrong. In Excel, anytime you see a selection that's animated, it means you could change that selection if you want to. And well, we do want to change that selection. So I'm just going to click right here on the 3 for Boston. And now I've selected the entire row. Well, what's the advantage of the entire row? Well, if I add more widgets over here, as far as I want to go, up to 16,000 columns that we have in Excel, then they'll always be part of my formula all the way across. So I can rest assured that anyone can come along and add some more data, and it's going to be part of my totals down here. So I selected the entire row 3 by clicking right on the 3. But actually, we have a couple of cities that we could call East Coast, couldn't we? Boston and Coney Island. So I'm going to click and drag. Now we have these two contiguous rows, or two rows that are right next to each other. And that was pretty easy to select as well. If we look down here, you might not have seen this before for a cell reference. It's saying 3:4, which means row 3 through row 4. So all of those rows are selected. All we have to do is just simply hit enter to accept that, and we get our totals. Now let's try that again for Midwest. So I just simply click here where I want my total. I do Alt equals. It guesses, but it guesses wrong right here. So I'm going to say, actually, the Midwest, I'm going to say is Dallas. And then I hit a comma on my keyboard, and that's the big trick. Comma. Now I can pick another one. I'm going to say Cincinnati, comma, and why don't we do Houston? So I have 3 of those I'm calling Midwest, and I can hit enter. Let's try over here for Mountain. Alt equals. It guesses wrong, but that's fine. We're looking for Mountain. Well, I know Provo, Utah is probably Mountain, comma, and maybe we want Little Rock. Add that, comma, and maybe Las Vegas. And so now I've got 3 here for Mountain, and hit enter. And so then we have the totals. And we now know that any data entered over here will all be included. So we have to know our data well enough to know that there's nothing out here that's going to confuse our formulas. We have to know that this is all going to be blank all the way out to the very end, which is about 16,000 rows if you go all the way out. So there you have it. That's using row references and commas in order to get different row references that are not contiguous.